You're listening to Oilersnation Radio, presented by the Nation Network. Subscribe for free on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Oilersnation Radio, episode 70. Want to go ahead and thank...
Oh, 70. I thought there was more to that.
We are back.
I thought the can opening was just the start of something.
No, Dan, you're wrong again. Of course, I want to start off by thanking our friends at Sherwood Ford, the Giant, out in beautiful Sherwood Park, Alberta. Go ahead and follow them on Twitter at Sherwood Ford and on Instagram at Sherwood Ford _ the Giant. If you see the Nation truck driving around this beautiful city of ours, be sure to snap a photo of it, tag it with Nation Truck, and you will be entered to win a draw for a $100 gas card. Tyler, I know you could use $100 on a gas card.
Oh, 100%.
Who couldn't? Everybody could.
I do lots of driving.
Well, I guess.
Humble brag.
What is happening?
Good for you. Good for you.
I'm in a great mood today, boys.
You are.
I'm happy to see you. It's been a week since I've seen you, Tyler.
Almost a week.
And I feel like that's where we should start, gentlemen, because everybody is talking about it. We want to get this out of the way. First up, let's talk about Calgary. We were there. We were at the Saddle Dome. We were there for Turtlegate. I'm going to start just going around. Yeah, part 2. That's true. I'm going to start just by going around. We're going to start with 2 different buses. We were kind of all split between the buses. Tyler, you were on a different bus. Nick was on that one. Mm-hmm. Rick, Dan, and I were on the other bus. Tell us a little bit about your experience on the way down to Calgary.
I had a couple of nice beers because our bus was fully licensed. I had a shot of Fireball. I had pizza at the Canadian Brew House, and I had a damn good time.
Mm-hmm. You did have a good time, buddy. There was a video evidence
of that. Szechuan beef. I don't know if you remember that part or not. You had Szechuan beef.
Delicious.
You also paid for Rick and my cab home and some treats.
And some treats afterwards as well.
That was nice.
Sometimes it'd be that way.
Big bag of hickory sticks, hey, Big Milk?
Hey, man. That's good living.
Still have them?
No.
Good job.
No, I crushed
I saw you waited a couple of days to get into them, or at least you posted a photo after.
Yeah.
Like a Monday, you just dove in.
Yeah, there was I got home, rested up, had a couple of cocktails, and I was like, hey, some salty goodness that I need right now.
So good.
Absolutely. If you have not bought hickory sticks, I recommend that you do, because nobody ever does.
Not as salty as the food though at Singapore Sam's.
Oh, good Lord.
Man, there was triple the amount of MSG on our food that night.
Like, I was probably the drunkest man alive on Saturday night.
You might have been second.
But even
behind Thai guy?
Yeah, he was up there.
Even in that state, the food at Singapore Sam's is just garbage.
I don't know.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, first thing in the morning, that shit would have been gold. But it was super duper
I don't know.
salty
To go back to the drunken rankings, at least Thai guy found his way back onto the bus after the game.
It's true. So
phone call.
The game ended. I had to take a piss. Lineups at the Saddle Dome, which is a dump again.
Yeah, that was my first time ever there.
Okay, what do you think?
The whole thing is a urinal. That was your first mistake. He's looking for a urinal in the urinal.
Tyler, your first trip to the Saddle Dome, what were your thoughts? Because not only was that your first time there, you also had to hike up to the press gallery where we were all sitting.
And I almost fell over.
I almost fell. At one point, I didn't know what section we were in, so I just sat in a random section, and then Nick had to call me over. I would rather watch a game. I think Rexall's nicer. I don't even think
guarantee is right.
That's not even a debate.
Like in the current state, right?
Yeah, like right now.
No seats, no scoreboard, no ice, nothing.
Just standing room only. Rexall would be nicer than the Saddle Dome. Everything's crammed. You don't know where the hell you are. There's no rhyme or reason to like the layout of the building.
Did you see the debit machines that you had to use to pay? Like,
no.
To buy beer and stuff from the vendors? They're literally like the old swipey machines that look like they're from 1981.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I feel you, though, on not knowing where you're going, because at one point I went to buy beers and cheesburgers for Rick and I.
Yeah, he came back.
And I'm
back a while after
that box was hanging by a thread.
Yeah, that box.
And I could not see us. And then where we were sitting, and all of a sudden I see Rick standing, pointing at me, like up here, guiding me in like a beacon.
I saw my cheeseburger coming along, and I need this.
Oh, man.
Well, see, the funny thing, too, is Bag Monk's like, I'll be back with hot dogs.
That's true. I didn't ask for a hot dog.
They didn't sell hot dogs.
Yeah, that's fine. But it's weird, though, because if you went to the one side, the other side did sell it, because that's all we ever had before was hot dogs.
Yeah, because I was just going into the fancy section. Those are my people.
Oh, I know. You get up into the alumni area.
Yeah, I was in the alumni lounge again.
Shaking hands, kissing babies.
I've got a random story from the trip that happened when we were actually still in Red Deer on our way down.
Oh, this is good.
So just took we were in the brew house. I took a little break, took a walk out, restocked on some things in the area around, and was just talking to a lovely lady who was giving out some samples, and she'd asked why we were there, and she saw the lanyard and all this, and then another lady comes up and she goes, "Oh, I love the Oilers." And I was like, "Oh, that's great. Awesome. You're a big Oiler fan." She's like, "Yeah, actually my son-in-law plays on the Oilers." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's interesting." And so I kind of pressed her a little bit more.
Must have been like Sheehan or someone doesn't have a lot of money
Yeah,
that your mother-in-law is supposed to work at the liquor store in Red Deer.
But no, it was one Ryan Nugent Hopkins' mother-in-law working at the store. So she
Mrs. Wendell.
yes, she was a lovely lady. She had nothing but nice things to say about Oiler fans and Ryan themselves, and we'll be sending the Wendell family a bunch of Keep Nuge Forever shirts just for
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
It's funny because it works on their side too.
Of course.
They're the in-laws, right? So
Absolutely.
They want to keep Nuge forever.
yeah.
Who wouldn't?
because of that. It was funny that it coming to that story again on our Instagram, there was a question about the Keep Nuge Forever shirt, and then one of our other fans answered it. So somebody asked, why does the Keep Nuge Forever shirt exist? And somebody answered like, they made it for his wedding. And I was like, well, you know what, if the story lives that way, that's fine.
Sure, that's exactly
We
what
had
I
a
did.
great Keep Nuge Forever chant going at the Dome.
Nuge
He had a
forever.
couple of goals. I thought I was losing my hat that night, and I was excited about it. I was real excited to hit some random
We were
Flame fan.
barely
Say,
just into the second for the
hats
second
aren't going to
goal.
make it to the rink.
No, it didn't matter to me.
You could have hit Eric Francis with your hat, though.
We're going to talk about him in a second.
But then,
What's his deal,
that guy's an
man?
idiot.
He's super troll, and he owns it. I don't know if in his day-to-day life he likes to be a bag of shit, but online he absolutely is, and he does it well.
He got beat up in high school.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I mean, who amongst us didn't? But fair. But yeah, he plays that role really well.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I'm just throwing that out there. I didn't.
I got my ass kicked in junior high. Yeah, no, I don't know. He plays the role well. He gets us all pissed off.
All right,
Look at
so
that!
wait,
look
wait.
at that look on Tyler's face. Tyler
I-
did the beating in high school.
No.
Tyler definitely did the beating in high school.
yeah, you were a bully, weren't you?
Once in junior high, I had to speak in front of the whole school, and
got pantsed.
everyone in my grade booed me. Like the gymnasium at an assembly was booing me as I stood there with a microphone.
And that was the day bitter Tyler was born.
Yeah.
He's never put a microphone down again.
I'll show all of you. I'll never stop talking.
Tyler's face just went blank. He's reliving that moment right now.
Oh, fuck, that was funny.
So getting back on track, obviously the Kassian Kachuk thing happened. Cass dummied him.
Destroyed him.
Kachuk turtles. That's what he does.
Again,
He goes in the fetal position.
chicken.
We released a red turtle shirt.
We did.
Crushing.
Exploding.
Man, we could have had that
Crushing.
thing at the rate that Jay and I were working on Saturday night at the bar. I thought he wanted that thing out before like 2 a.m.
It was, so we got to the bar after the game, and Jay is a man possessed.
He made like, so it was like him sitting and then like 2 or 3 Finns beside him and then myself. He's like, Rick, you got to come sit next to me for the third period. He was rattled. The old guys were chirping him in the bathroom or something like that. Some old guy told him that Kassian was the coward. Jay can get a little riled up from time to time. This is probably one of the more I've ever seen out of him.
Especially when he's got a baker's dozen in him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he had a couple.
So back to Eric Francis, the thing that came out about, we're not going to beat the Kassian Kachuk thing to death. We've all talked about it a million times. Cass got suspended 2 games. Bullshit. Kachuk got nothing. Whatever. It is what it is. However, back to Eric Francis. He thinks that it was Kassian that violated the code, the unspoken code. And his quote was, if anyone owes anyone a fight, it's Kassian with Lucic. Kassian is the one who broke the code by ragdolling a star like Kachuk, and Kassian knows it.
Did he say star?
Yes, he did.
This is a direct quote, my friend, and Kassian knows it. Kassian dummied a star player on the Calgary Flames. That does not go without retribution. So now we're going to find out if Zack Kassian is capable or interested of taking on someone out of his weight class in fighting Milan Lucic in the opening minutes of their game on January 29th. I'm fascinated to see if he answers the bell.
We already know that Luch is not a big fan of fighting his old buddies because we saw him play LA as an Oiler. And I remember Jeff Carter knocking over maybe even Connor. And Luch didn't do a goddamn thing. Luch does not fight his buddies. Luch will not fight Kassian.
Well, he's going to be 3-4 steps behind him anyway. Or he's just going to be yelling weird things at him from the bench.
he had his chance. You're right, Beg Milk. He was standing up, barking at Kassian when Kassian did it.
Which is all you could do. You run on that ice at the right time, so that's all you can do, yeah.
And then Kassian came back into the game, and Lucic had his chance, and he did nothing.
And so did Zachary Ronaldo, or whatever this kid's name is.
And then how about
shit either?
And then how about calling Tkachuk the star? Which, you know what? I didn't even know it at the time, but he is the leading scorer on the Flames with 38 measly points.
Woo,
but you know, so
impressive.
Good for him. But like Kassian has 10 less points than him and only 3 less goals than him, and he's outscoring him at even strength, I think.
Yeah, Tyler, you put that out, I think.
Yes. So what are we even talking about here? Francis, like I said, he plays the troll role well, but yeah, it was a foolish statement by him.
On that note, I did like, Tyler, I like when you argue with people on Twitter, man.
I was going at it with this guy.
Yeah, you were. He was like, well, if I played with Connor McDavid, I would get more even strength points too. And you just responded with something like, sure you would, buddy, or something.
I said, sure you would, big guy. But there was another guy yesterday too. I don't know why. I was in a fighting mood yesterday. I know that's not exactly a surprise, but this guy was like, he was sending me like plus minus. He's like, Kachuk's a plus 15.
Yes.
I was like, listen, man, you've shown me you aren't intelligent and like blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, you're the one saying that Kassian's better than Tkachuk. And I was like, well, I never said that, you fucking idiot. Like, sometimes people piss me off.
After the Flames lost or got shut out by the Habs the next game, and we beat the Preds,
points away?
And we were tied with them again, then the goal differential thing was the next big one that I saw.
But isn't it right? But goal differential isn't the first, is it?
No, it's regulation overtime wins.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have more.
I don't even think goal differential's second, is it?
Not anymore.
No, I think it's head to head.
And strengthen your conference in your division.
Just before we
Do
move
we have
on
that
here
now?
from,
I know that's an NCAA thing.
Yeah, I think it goes row. It goes row, head to head, and then strengthen the division.
That is so hard to figure out.
yeah, there's math there. I don't,
There's a lot of math there.
Yeah. So looking at right now, if we're looking, Calgary has a -9 goal differential, and the Oilers is -2.
Yeah.
So we are climbing back towards even on the goal differential. Even just 2 weeks ago, the Oilers were at like -13 or something like that. So they are climbing up nicely.
Don't we have like the best record of one goal games as well?
Well, that's because we can't score an empty net goal to save our lives.
We don't want to. We don't want to rub it into their team.
Hey, we're on a roll now, man. Leon
true.
got one the other night.
That was a struggle. That was a fun goal, empty net goal to watch.
They all count.
We had like 4 guys in the crease or around the crease.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Yep.
Before we move on to that Predators game, I just want to finish up with this Calgary thing. The thing I want to talk about was Flames fans thought they were being creative and fun
Oh, shit.
by raising money for a billboard, which just came out today. The design for the billboard came out
It's
today.
embarrassing.
And it is bad. It looks like something you would make in MS Paint.
Like and I may get in trouble for this, but like a couple ladies on Facebook made this thing. Like there is no cleverness. There is no type of shit talking. It's just the Tkachuk friendly reunion tour,
Friendship tour, which they stole from. They actually, to their credit, they stole that from Flames Nation.
Okay, but is that the one that they raised money for, or is that just the one that CJ92 did?
It started out with a guy in Calgary raising money in a GoFundMe.
Then we made it look stupid.
The Calgary radio station stepped in and said, "We'll do the billboard. You just raise money for charity."
After
they
we
raised
made them
about
look
$4,000 for charity for ALS, and then at the same time, that girl released a tweet to do brown bagging it.
Yeah,
and we've raised. I think
so. The radio
close to
station said, "Hey, listen, convert yours now to a charity," and then. That Sarah girl got involved, or Sam girl got involved?
It was around this same time.
I thought the Sam girl, they said, okay, we're doing this. And she's like, okay, well, that's pretty stupid. Instead, let's go out and raise money for the charity instead. Yeah. And then that went through the roof. And then that other dude came in and said, hey, I'll match your 10 grand. And I thought that was when Calgary's like, ooh.
No, it was before that, but you might be right. It might have gone
whatever
dude in Calgary, us, and then.
It doesn't really matter what the timeline is. I just want to give Sam a shout out. Sam in Yeg on Twitter. This was all her doing. I remember when I think it was Bar Down or something posted that Calgary fans were raising money for the billboard, and she came out and said, well, that's ridiculous. I have a challenge for you. In response to Flames fans buying a billboard, I've decided to donate to one of their local charities in honor of Zack Kassian. I chose brown bagging it so that kids can get a proper meal and grow up to be tougher than Tkachuk. And looking now, it is about $38,000 that
That's
Edmontonians
crazy.
have raised.
That's so crazy.
Congratulations to all of you for getting involved and once again showing why this is the city of champions.
Also, as someone who may or may not work for the company that also owns CJ92 Rocks in Calgary, I have it on pretty good authority that there will be a billboard in the city where once that Kachuk one pops up, the very next billboard will be an Edmonton response.
Like like when they take it down, you're the next one up, or the next.
No, it's a rotating billboard. It's an electronic.
They bought an electronic billboard.
Those fancy ones, eh?
Yeah. So on the fancy electronic billboard, once that one's up, the next one should be a response from Oilers.
Well, I
fans.
hope that one's a little more creative, because the one that we're seeing right now is as bland gets.
It's player profile photo. It's a
It's
tagline ripped from
embarrassing.
Flames Nation.
Embarrassing.
And then it's
You
a
wanna-
promotion for a radio
Your
station.
whole thing is like try and get under the skin of the Edmontonians or whatever. Like they obsess over this city.
They
You
talk
guys-
about being rent-free, man.
You guys honestly laid an egg. You had an opportunity, something funny, something cool. I don't know. But you guys laid an egg.
I also love, Tyler, I don't know if you want to say where the radio station is, but I also love that the billboard that they paid for is nowhere near the arena. It's not close.
It's nowhere near anything, really.
No, unless you're going out to that Walmart out there.
Yeah,
You know
if
what I
that's
mean?
the only spot they're putting it, I mean,
Those people on their
I'm gonna get in trouble at my other job now, but whatever.
on their drive home, they're gonna be upset, but no one else is gonna fucking see it.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I don't generally pay attention to billboards anyway. So nice job. Nice spend of money, Calgary. You're doing great work. Just before we move on from the Calgary thing, I just want to ask everybody, this has been so hyped up over the last week and change. This is going on now. There's interviews on both sides. People are spewing hot takes on Twitter. On talk radio, it's still going on. Does anyone think that the rematch on the third installment of the Battle of Alberta on the 29th is going to be any letdown at all, or is it going to be as advertised? Tyler, what do you think?
I think it might end up being a bit of a letdown. Like if both these teams come off their bye weeks and are just like, meh, let's focus on the 2 points. Let's focus on, winning. And if the NHL, which I think they want to do, stifle this thing a bit and sit down with both teams and go, any bullshit is double the regular suspension, guys, which they might.
George Peros is going to be in attendance.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no!
But
So we can
You're
miss
part of
things
the
in real life as well.
yeah, I think there's a chance that there could be, not zero animosity, but maybe not the fireworks that we're expecting.
To Tyler's point, before I go on you, Nick, right now, as of today, Friday, 1st and 5th in the Pacific Division are only separated by 2 points. So that's a huge
massive hockey
divisional game. Nick, what do you think?
First off, to go back to the 1-goal game thing, Calgary actually leads the league in wins in 1-goal games with 16, where we have 10, just because you guys were talking about that before. If you want to build this like a proper wrestling feud like it is right now, you keep Kachuk and Kassian away from each other on the 29th. You build the heat until the third game on the 1st, and that's when they finally get at each other, because that way then it really will blow the roof off the place when they finally go head to head.
And all the big time eyes won't necessarily be watching. All the NHL will be, okay, you guys got past the last one, and George can go back to the beach and hang out there again.
If you want to build this a little bit too, like maybe like a video game, those of you like playing video games, build it like some boss levels. For Kassian to finally get to Kachuk, he's got to go through Lucic first. So you take Lucic down on the 29th, because that'll be a good scrap. He'll let Lucic catch up to him. He'll slow down his paces by half speed, so Lucic can actually skate next to him. They'll go at it. He'll take Lucic down, and then he finally gets to go after Kachuk on the 1st.
I think they fight. They're going to fight right away. Like there was a report out there that said the older guys in the Flames dressing room, they gave Kachuk shit. Like they
But
said,
who reported that?
oh, I can't remember. Some dude out of Calgary, probably.
Josh Marshall, who is like
I
a
don't know
fucking
that.
clown, so I wouldn't.
Oh, is he? Oh,
Yeah,
but
he's a fucking-
I could honestly see some of the guys going like, dude, you can't be doing that stupid shit. Like, because right away, what the NHL did afterwards is they legalized targeting. They said there was nothing wrong with the Kachuk hits. I guarantee you, everybody's gonna start doing the same fucking thing now. You sit at the face-off dot and you wait for your guy to start coming around the net, and you drive right in and take him out. Perro said it's legal.
I think the biggest thing that's going to come from this is that Rogers Place is going to be fucking rocking on the 29th, and I'm excited for that.
They'll scrap off the
The
hop,
fans
though.
will be going at it.
They'll
There's going
scrap
to be
off
a
the
lot
hop,
of
and
red
Kachuk's gonna hold
turtles there.
on. Kachuk's going to hold on and try and get through the fight, and they'll just try and kill it there. But I really hope that after that, Zach does wait on the face-off dot and try and hit a couple of these guys.
I just want him to crumple up Johnny Gaudreau in a little ball and throw him in the stands. That's what they got to do. Like, honestly, I would prefer if he just ignored Kachuk entirely, because that's that dude's game.
Yeah, but they're good. I think Kachuk's going to actually stand up and go, okay, like, right off the
Because it reminds me of, do you remember when Matt Hendricks hit, I don't remember who it was on the Panthers, somebody from behind. This was a few years ago. And the very next game, he came out and fought Goodbranson right away at the start of the game. And then what was done was done. But Matt Hendricks was an honorable player, whereas Matt Tkachuk is not.
Matt Tkachuk does expect other people to answer for his hits, on his team, though he made Matt Dumba fight him earlier this year because of it.
The veterans on that team are going to make him stand up.
Yeah, like, I
there's
mean,
there's no way he gets away with that game without fighting.
Like, I know he's a Calgary Flame, but by all accounts, Mark Giordano seems like a stand-up captain.
Dude, Luch is going to sit there and fucking smack him and tell him to fucking smarten up and get out there and just do his thing.
All right. We over with
literally, it's going to just cause Goudreau, like, literal headaches.
Hope so. I mean, that's what I would do.
And whatever this fucking Rasmus Anderson kid is.
Yeah.
Like, you got your face filled in already by Nurse, and I'm pretty sure he just got his jaw unwired, and that's the first thing he wants to say.
That was my favorite part, because he was talking about pretenders on the Oilers, even though Darnell filled him in. Like, real bad.
It was really bad.
He was starting the lawnmower on your face.
Oh, and Darnell was pissed. Do you see his face in that one?
I've seen that look up close, and it's
terrifying. Yeah, don't pat him on the head. No.
All right, we're moving on from Calgary. I want to get to our friends at Sherwood Ford, again, out in beautiful Sherwood Park, Alberta, on Twitter, at Sherwood Ford, and on Instagram, at Sherwood Ford _the Giant. Look for the Nation Truck, take a picture, #Nation Truck, enter to win a $100 gas card. Tyler, it is the Sherwood Ford Giant. Question of the week.
Given the news of the Caleb Jones signing, a 2-year, $850K extension, will the Edmonton Oilers trade a defenseman before the trade deadline? The three players I pictured in the graphic were Chris Russell, Matt Benning, and our good friend Will Lagesson. But what's your guys' take here? Will the Oilers deal off a defenseman before the trade deadline?
I mean, I think now that they've got the opportunity they're stocked up on the left side. There's no doubt about it. I was actually, to be honest, a little bit surprised to see a 2-year extension on Caleb Jones, because I thought that he might be somebody that might leave. However, great deal by Holland. I was surprised to see it so low. I'm still suffering PTSD from when Peter Chiarelli was signing people. You know, he would have gotten like a 2.5 or something like that.
Where's his no trade?
Yeah, where's the no trade? But I still don't know that they traded a defenseman before the deadline, just because I think that they need veterans. Unless you're going to flip a Chris Russell for a Nick Bonino or something like that. Tyler, you've talked about it before. I just don't know if that's the play quite yet.
And what if Dave Tippett is sitting here telling Holland in their meetings, like, listen, I really like having Russell in this lineup?
And he could. You never know.
There's a chance, right? Like, Tippett could really value having a veteran back there.
Rick, what do you think?
I think Russell's gone. I've been saying it all year.
Before the deadline?
Okay, that's going to be whether Benning hangs out. If Benning can handle it, I think it opens up the door for the Russell to move. And I know this is going to sound really stupid, but in terms of veterans and stuff, you honestly can just go down to Bakersfield and bring up fucking Brandon Manning. He can't probably do just as much as Russell, but the difference isn't that much. And you save yourself, whatever, $1.5 million or something. Like, if you want in terms of a veteran, Manning can almost do what Russell, he can't skate. You can't really do everything Russell does, but you got to fill in. I mean, we're definitely at the point now where our new defense are here. And I said for a while, you just got to let Jones play through his mistakes. He's going to make mistakes, but he's not going to figure them out in the AHL because it's not fast enough down there. He has to make these mistakes and learn from them in the NHL. And the team, they gave him 2 years. Said, let's go. It's once Benning comes back, and you can always bring up Pearson too and see if you need that right-handed guy for a seventh guy. I honestly don't see how Russell's here come the trade deadline.
One reason why I think that Russell could be here is courtesy of our friends at puckpedia.com. He still does have the remainder of this year and next year at $4 million with a limited no trade clause. Nick, what do you think?
Well, actually, quickly on the limited no trade, sorry to cut you off, Nick. It's 10 teams right now. On July 1st, it turns to a 15-team list. So it does get easier to move them in the summer.
Okay, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Well, Tyler mentioned William Lagesson, whatever it is. I think when he first got called up, everyone sort of thought that was a bit of an audition to have him be a bit of trade bait. I mean, honestly, people thought Caleb Jones might have been that too. It is getting crowded, especially if Benning comes back. So you have to think somebody's on the move. I've made my feelings about Chris Russell known on this podcast plenty. I think he's valuable. I think he's a guy you want only on the third pairing, nowhere above that, but you want him heading into a playoff run. But if there's a right deal to flip him for a guy, they're still looking for a third line center. If you can flip him for something like that, I don't see why not. Jones actually, with Oilers Nation and actually nationwide writer Zach Lang. We were talking to him and I were talking about it yesterday in the office. Jones's underlying numbers are actually pretty surprisingly good. He seems to play against pretty good quality of competition. So I thought he looks like he struggles out there at times, but
I think his mistakes just kind of get magnified a little bit.
Sure.
And then we don't really look at all the little things he does.
I think it's because the way he recovers seems very erratic. A little panicky.
And I think it might be because you're just learning. But like I said, these are the things he has to learn. He's got to learn in the deep end of the pool now.
Yeah, but all his stats are high, like his Corsi, all that kind of stuff are on the positive side. So if he can hold down that third pairing spot on the left, then yeah, if you can find a deal for Russell and offload that salary, you might as well do it.
Dan, before I get to you, Caleb Jones now at this point has played 23 games with the Oilers this season, 40 NHL games total. What do you think, Dan?
I said it last week, and I still would like to see us go out and get another defenseman. And I know it sounds like you're just adding to the logjam, but I think...
Who are you pushing back then?
I think there's an opportunity to move out a defenseman and then move another one back in for prospects or for picks.
Well, Benning's almost back, so you got to take somebody out of the lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm still okay with Caleb Jones sliding down to the AHL myself. I don't think we need to force him into the lineup just yet.
You're not forcing him, though. He looked great.
I'm not saying he looked terrible.
Fantastic.
But I'm saying if you can go out and get, I know it's not like it's it's me just saying that, but going out and getting that right side defenseman that can slide people back, it would be valuable in the playoffs.
Nobody scores when he's out there.
Well,
weird, I know, but
yeah. But I'm just that's just my feeling. I would like to see us just go into the playoffs with a deep D core that allows a guy like Caleb Jones to play if he needs to and if you want him to. But if he has some struggles in the playoffs, that there's some next guy next up.
Is your thought process kind of like when Sakara went down?
Yes.
A couple years ago, and then they were just kind of not the same.
It's a little bit more PCTSD where he just doesn't. Peter Chiarelli just didn't plan for the worst case scenario. You like that? You like that? I just thought of that. Bag Milk, you're right. I think it's coming back to the last playoff run, but then it's just playoffs in general. Playoff depth is super important. The next man up is, I don't want it to be Brandon Manning, and I don't think he's the best
would be the
option.
Popcorn guy.
But Russell as a seventh man is not a bad idea. But you have to go out. You have to have guys in front of him to replace him.
Kind of a split room on Chris Russell, or even just moving a defenseman in general. Tyler, last word.
I think it's tough to deal him before the deadline. I think if you can move him out and maybe bring in a veteran forward, it might help this team more. Like a third line center who might be overpaid probably helps this team win more games than a third pairing D-man who's overpaid. But at the same time, I have no problem with Chris Russell being on this team. I've said this before. I like his game. I don't like his contract. In fact, I really hate his contract. He'll be gone by next training camp. I'm not 100% certain if he'll be gone by this trade deadline. So to answer the question, I just kind of danced around it a little bit here, but I think a D-man will be dealt, but it won't be Russell. I think Benning might be the odd man out here.
Do you think with his concussion issues that it's going to be harder to deal with him? Or like his value is going to drop to a point where we might as well keep him?
No, I think...
or what does he have to do to prove that
I think a rebuilding team might like him. I don't think it's a deal with the Leafs. I think it's a deal...
Do you think that team would take him as of like today where there's some question marks on his game?
You need him to play a bit.
Okay, now how far are we from the trade deadline though? Like a month?
Month and 7 days, so 5 weeks.
So then we do know that he's not playing till at least the 29th.
Yeah.
Right? So
hopefully you can get him in a few games and he passes tests and a team believes you. I know it's a big ask, but...
We'll see. We're getting close to the trade deadline. For once, the Oilers are in a spot to buy, which is a very nice change.
Once again, it was only like 3 years ago. David Desharnais.
God, it feels like a long time.
They can't do that again.
No.
You got to do something more than Desharnais. Like people were floating out the idea that go get Tyler Ennis. It's like, okay, sure, Tyler Ennis is a good hockey player, but who's he? Is he an upgrade on Josh Archibald? Like I think they need to go out and they need to put a stamp on this thing.
Well, Dusty
need a real top six.
Dusty Nielsen had a fishing for a top six winner today at OilersNation.com. He hit some of the names that he had in there was Andreas Athanasiou. Fuck me. Andreas Athanasiou. Kasperi Kapanen. Eric Stahl as a wild card. Tyler Toffoli, G. Pajot, and Alex Galchenyuk were some of Dusty's ideas.
Pajot is going to be too expensive, and Friedman said on the radio today that Stahl didn't like being a rental there before, and he really, really, really does not want like a mid-season trade. So I don't see that happening either.
I'm still I'm gonna keep banging this drum like I'm the Houston Astros, but it needs to be a guy. It needs to be a guy with team control.
That's a good one.
It's got to be a guy with team control. If you're gonna give up the future assets, I want a guy to come back who can help the team next year as well. And I think those names are out there.
Would you take an RFA type of guy then?
Yeah, RFA. You're looking
right?
like
So I mean, Stahl gets taken out, but and whatever.
FNCU, Josh Anderson, Andre Kasha has a year left on his deal. Like,
Yeah, but Ducks aren't going to trade him.
Well, I don't know. Custon's had him in his piece on his trade bait board.
But to us, I mean, like in the division, I don't think.
If they're going for a rebuild, they might not give a shit.
Yeah, at that point, if you're going to a rebuild, man, you look for the best pieces coming back.
Ducks are so fucking bad.
They're so bad.
Thank God. Love to see it.
Yeah, it's
love to see it.
Couldn't happen to a better team.
As far as a team crashing and burning outside of the Flames, that just makes me so happy. It's the Anaheim Ducks.
Toronto,
Vancouver. I mean, I could.
But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Did you guys
You know what I mean, though?
Did you guys hear
I get
the
what you're
rumors about Toronto? How they're looking to fix their D. Dion Phaneuf was spotted having a conversation
No,
with
he wasn't.
with Brendan Shanahan.
No,
That'll-
he's
that'll
talking
do it.
about
Chris Russell.
Wasn't that about him like shadowing him though, and
I
like
don't
trying
know,
to become
man.
an executive?
I don't
That'll do
know. I don't know.
Bring back Dion.
They're held together with some sticky tack right now. So
They need a double D on, or maybe a cowboy.
They need a cowboy.
Sticking along the lines of contracts today, right before we got started here, Mark Spector tweeted out Oilers GM Ken Holland and Rick Curran, the agent for UFA right winger Zack Kassian, have spoken several times and appear to be finding common ground. My sense, they will announce a multi-year deal prior to the trade deadline, and that Kassian will not make it to July 1st. Tyler, I want to start with you. We've talked about the Kassian contract a few times on this podcast. It's a scary one. It's a scary one considering who he's played with all season long. He's playing right beside Connor. Obviously, that gives him a healthy boost of skill in terms of who he plays with. What do you think this is going to look like? Are you scared? Do you want me to hold you?
There's two ways to look at this.
One, he wants to be held, but
Of course.
outside of that,
Either Zack Kassian wants to be here, has no interest in going to the open market, so the fact that this deal could get announced in the next month means that it's going to be a team-friendly deal. The other side of looking at this is Zack Kassian actually wouldn't mind going to market, and the Oilers are petrified of that, so they're going to pay him a lot right now to make sure it doesn't happen and make sure they have the cost certainty before heading into the deadline.
It's an interesting moment for him to do it because of the hype of the Kachuk thing.
You think?
The city, he was the most popular guy at the autographing
but if
session and photo
it's
session.
coming out right now that they're almost done, that means they've been talking for a while and well before this whole Calgary thing.
Probably.
Yeah, I just hope.
I think, sorry to cut you off. Spector did say they've talked a few times or several times now.
I hope that it's a sign that he wants to just be here and he gets that he's playing a role and that if he goes to open market, he might get marooned.
Ken Holland told Mark
stuck somewhere.
Yes.
Ken Holland told Mark Spector, I've had a number of conversations with his agent, Rick Curran. The hope is that we can keep him in an Oilers uniform. I love his passion, his physicality. He's a presence, and I'm aware of big playoffs he had 3 years ago. There are still 5 months before free agency. I believe Cass loves it in Edmonton, so hopefully we can find a solution that works for him and for us. Now, my question to everybody, seeing the contract that Caleb Jones signed, which is a very team-friendly deal, not used to these, does that make you feel better about Ken Holland negotiating this deal on Kassian?
I was never worried about it. Like, I know everybody came in and said blah, blah, this and that and the other thing. And what he was doing in Detroit was, it was something different. They were on a 24-year playoff run, and at that point, you're just trying to keep it rolling.
There might have been pressure from ownership there as well.
That's what I mean, right? So you're just trying to, on that point, just trying to get into the playoffs every year. I think this is a lot different. I think he's here because he wants to build something, and I think this is going to be this. I'm not terrified when it comes to this. I think at absolute worst, it's 4 times 3.5.
I think that for Ken Holland in Detroit, it was a lot of loyalty issues where it was like guys that he was loyal to and he just kept signing them to deals that maybe they were a little bit too.
But the whole point. The whole point was to keep their playoff streak going.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying is that where he doesn't have that here, right? There's no playoff streak to worry about. There's no loyalty to players except for maybe Yurko.
Never heard of
it. It has to be mentioned too that Steve Yzerman's inheriting a roster in Detroit that has like $34 million worth of cap space next year. Mm-hmm. So Holland,
people like to choose to forget that part.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So he signed a lot of like maybe past their prime veterans to no move clauses and all that kind of stuff. And it looked ugly there for a couple of years, but I mean, he's setting the team up for Yzerman to be successful if they can make all that cap space work.
Yeah, and you're kidding yourself if you thought that Yzerman wasn't in conversation about being the GM before Ken Holland even started the last year in Detroit.
They were talking about that when his knees stopped working against Edmonton in 06.
Yep.
That was weird. I was at Steve Yzerman's last game.
You were.
Nobody knew.
Last skate was on Rexall.
Game 6?
Yeah.
Oh, buddy, that goal
Nobody
by
knew.
that Sergei Samson.
Ended Chris Osgood's career that night too.
Round the horn real quick. What does everybody think Kassian kind of settles at? I'm going to start with a 3x3. Tyler?
4 by 3.5. 4 years, 3.5.
That's a weird way to say that.
That's a rich one.
No, that's exactly what I said. I think it's personally I would like it at 3x3, but I think the team is going to be a little nicer here. And he's what, 28 right now? 32. He doesn't play that big same type of physical game that Lucic plays, so I don't think he's going to break down as fast. His lifestyle off the ice is much cleaner now, so I think he can keep the body up. I think it's a little hefty on the price tag and the term. However, with the cap situation changing drastically, not this offseason but next offseason, and you got a couple, you get a couple of young defensemen, you can keep them cheaper. I think he's going to go. Yeah, like I said, 3x3, but 4 years and 3.5 is, I think, where they're going to go.
Nick, what do you think?
There's a lot of pessimism that goes into when we talk about these things, but I'm confident after Holland struck that deal with Jones, so I'm going to say 2.5 for 3 years.
That would be, man, if he does that, I'm going to come give you a big old kiss. Dan, what do you think?
Yeah,
finally.
I'd give him a kiss first before you go to Nick.
Oh, come on.
I'm kind of on the bag milk train there. I'll say 2.9. 3 years for 2.9.
I said all along, if it starts with a 2, I'd be very happy, but I just don't think
Which,
it's
the
going
price or the years?
If
two.
it starts
The
with
price, I
a
should
2,
say.
I'd sign him for 6 years just to get it under 3. I don't think it's happening though.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
Back
I'll give him
optimist.
5 years if it's 2.5.
I'd go 5 years times 2.5 because
No
that's buyout.
problem. Yeah, you can do a lot with that.
I'm clearing my PCTSD.
No,
We all have
that
to
went
do it.
away the day he got fired, bro.
I don't know, man. I still got it. Still
Nah,
got it.
You can't tell me that every time
you gotta shake it.
like this summer you have to feel a little bit like pressured. There's the Nuge signing. There's Nurse coming in. Like there's a lot of.
There's a Nuge contract that's terrifying me. Nurse
there's
is gonna be
PCTSD?
No, this is in general. Like one day we're gonna have to deal with Connor and Leon too. Like yeah, I'm worried. Like I really hope that that Nuge is bought fully in and likes where we're going and likes where we're about to go, and this contract's gonna be interesting because I don't think he's going to get that much of a raise. Like he's going to get a bit of a raise and he's going to be right before the cap goes up, but because of his offensive numbers, I don't think you can give him that massive. Like he can't get 8.
Another thing to think about too is what
7? Yeah, I'll give him
Holland
7.
gave Chase on this summer.
And that was a Band-Aid situation. He's like, we need to get through this. I'm going to bring in some euros. I know this guy. I'll give him 2 years and I can fit it in and I can deal with it. But it's worst case scenario is he's a 4th liner, or I guess best case scenario is a 4th liner.
He's rounding it into a little bit better now, but
He wants to be the answer, man.
yeah, he's coming for that title.
There's only one name on that belt.
Is it skipthedishes.ca?
Of course it is.
They are always the answer when
got
you're
it.
hungry. Go ahead.
I gotta thank them for some. Like we got back from the bus, and I know you're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to use your phone on while you're driving. But I was searching while I was letting it warm up for a bit, and I definitely made my order right around a red light.
What'd you get?
I just picked up a pizza.
Nice.
I wasn't getting too crazy.
I skipped in Calgary. I ordered a shawarma
From when? Wait, how?
Late night at 1 a.m. at the hotel.
A shawarma.
A nice
Man,
little
I like
shawarma.
shawarma. I got
Donairs
myself.
over shawarmas.
I got myself a nice pho the other day.
Oh, recovery meal.
You like that, Nick?
No, I don't.
Yeah. I pronounced it properly. I got myself a nice pho from skipthedishes.ca. There are fine soup restaurants around me, and I like it. I like it. And I can't cook it, so I want to eat it. Skipthedishes.ca makes it happen, and they make me happy. Gentlemen, next thing I want to talk about is the NHL's Department of Player Safety.
Can we laugh at that? Should
Yes.
we put a laugh track in at this point? Sorry.
So the Kassian thing was weird. Kassian got suspended for 2. Tkachuk got nothing. We've covered this. But just the other day, Matthew Perreault has a quote that is hilarious.
Oh, it's fire. I love this.
Yeah, it's good.
I've got to take matters into my own hands next time if this happens, and I get to swing my stick across his forehead. and I shouldn't get suspended then.
I better not get suspended.
The next guy that does that to me is going to get my fucking stick, and I better not get suspended for it.
So what he's talking about there is Jake Vertanen elbowed him.
That was a dude. He raised his body. I don't know if his feet leave, but he's crunched first, as we're all taught to hit, and he brought himself up to make himself larger, and that elbow definitely went right into the kid's head.
Like, Perreault's a short guy, but that was a reach.
So my question for you guys is, what's going on with George Parros' department here? It is very inconsistent on what's getting called for suspensions in terms of hits or what have you.
He's changed the rules. He's pushed it back a bit.
Well, Kassian talked about it too. He knows
we're bringing Rafi back for the 29th.
And how many guys talked about Rafi Torres being suspended countless times for those kind of hits?
And those hits where you're coming back to your own net and they're coming out. I know in the NFL you can't do those backside blocks anymore.
Crack back block.
Yeah. You can't do that. And everything Matt Tkachuk just did, and the fact that Perreault said, "Yep, no, it's legal," and you saw that evil grin when Kassian told him what he heard. It's like he was just been given a green light to go play in 80s hockey again, and he loves that type of hockey. I love to watch it if that's the way they want to play. I get it. There's safety issues and that stuff, but when we're just talking about that 60 minutes of what we're watching on the ice, it's fantastic to watch. So if that's what they want to do, go right ahead. But I think they're in a lot of trouble. And I do think that even that hit by Vertanen was a little bit sparked by what we know going through now.
Could be.
Wait, what? That's legal? All right, let's go.
Nick, what do you think?
Well, I'm working on a piece here looking at how these suspensions have kind of been doled out since 2014, which is when, as the Nation Dan advised me from hockeyfights.com, was the first season when fighters were mandated not to take their helmets off during fights. So in the
prior to fights.
Sorry.
Before the fight.
That's the first year when they're like, you go to square up with the dude and you both at the same time reach for the chin straps, the Jamie and then take the helmets up and then back up and
Jamie Benn and Jerome Iginla. Classic.
So good.
So 2013, 2014, 15 players were suspended for what was deemed an illegal check to the head. And that accounted for 56 games. And that was just legal check to the head. That didn't include 14 boarding penalties that were 39 games combined, 3 charging penalties or suspensions that were 10 games, so on and so forth. Since that season, it has dropped off significantly every single year. The next season after that, 9 players were suspended for 27 games. 2016, 7 suspensions for 17 games. The next season, 5 suspensions for 11 games. Season after that, 4 suspensions for 7 games, and then last year upticked a bit. There are 12 suspensions for 35 combined games. So, and that was 2 players, Mark Borowiecki and David Backes were suspended as repeat offenders. So what this tells me, right? So like Rick said, the narrative coming out of NHL player safety would be, oh, well, they're learning, they're getting better at not hitting other players illegally to the head. Or you can look at it as the fact that fines have actually increased and suspensions have gone down. So if you're going to so their reasoning here for suspending Kassian is you can't let a guy punch a guy multiple times in the head without being willing, because that's not good for his dome going forward. Well, if that's the case, then you can't let a guy like Matthew Tkachuk skate around and target a guy's head.
Multiple times.
You can't have it both ways. The NHL wants to have it both ways. They sanction fighting. It's the only sport, the major sport in North America, that allows fighting in its game.
Other than sports that are based around fighting.
Sure, but the 4 major ones, right? So if you're going to allow that, then you got to let the players police themselves out there.
The suspension for Kassian is definitely not because the other guy didn't want to fight back. It looks bad on TV to people who don't watch hockey.
Well,
that's exactly what that is.
That's what happens at a bar and a guy just doesn't fight back.
My question is, though, is like, how much are you really caring about player safety and head trauma?
They do more than they did, but still, when Perreault said what he said to Zach, they said right there,
how
man,
can you,
as long as
how
it looks
can
good
you
on
look
TV.
at any of those hits that Tkachuk throws and say, you know what, it's fine, it's legal. Maybe it's a little on the edge, but it's clean.
But that's why fighting exists, because
that's my point.
Because exactly, there is plays that aren't penalties on a sheet of paper, but are dirty as fuck, and they need to be handled by the players.
You know what?
You're right.
What they should do, if you don't want this shit to happen, then you got to outlaw pests. You got to outlaw the shit that you
just go and suspend that stupid shit.
These little guys go around and they escalate a situation to the point where they're pushing another guy over the edge. Their whole purpose is to escalate a situation in a violent sport to make the other guy assault them.
Yeah,
that's fucking stupid.
It's like you pointed out upstairs with Brad Marchand.
And they brought this up on the radio the other day. But if they keep allowing this, you're gonna have another Bertuzzi. You're gonna have another Bouchard type incident.
When you have Kassian and you have Perreault both saying like, "I'm gonna go out there and do damage." Like what
Kassian said, I'm not going to follow the rules, but you definitely changed the rules, and thank you very much for this.
Well, no, he said he would do what he did again, which according to he's against the rules.
No, okay, that's fair.
So like,
it's to your point too, Rick. The Mark Crawford comments before the Steve Moore incident were things that we weren't really watching for, but became an issue afterwards because it was premeditated at that point, right?
Everything's premeditated. I hate that word premeditated.
No, I know, but it's
even
when
like
you make a
back when we were
statement.
kids, like, oh, take a number. If I take a number, that's premeditated when I go hit him in the third period.
Yeah. Well, like you
brought
up Brad Marchand, Dan. Like he's a great player. Like he scored 100 points last year. Like the guy's an incredible player. A lot of writers will say that he was on their heart ballot last year. But Brad Marchand does not lick a guy without the intention of having that guy punch him in the face.
What sentence you just said to say?
But is that not?
You're right.
That not the truth?
Absolutely
100%.
So at least it's only licking though. He didn't go in there and launch himself.
If you lick someone on the face, you deserve to get punched in the fucking face.
Oh, 100%.
Borderline, like,
but at least it wasn't that. At least it wasn't like you can't get hurt from that.
Don't kink
unless he has like mono.
I'm not. No, if it's consensual, hey, by all means, lick all the faces, feet, and toes you want, man. I don't care.
We went to a whole new area.
My brain is cramping on this one.
All of a sudden playing on.
Did Hathaway get suspended for his spit this year?
Oh yeah,
did he? Okay.
Oh yeah, he took a 2 or 3, if not more.
Which is fascinating when you don't get suspended for licking a guy, but when you projectile the spit,
because Marchand set the standard.
Yeah.
Those are two different things. Like I know they're almost the same thing, but they are two different things.
Yeah.
Like again, we talked about this on Real Life, Tyler. Like the whole thing that sucks about this Tkachuk shit is that we're not talking about McDavid's goal against Calgary,
which was great, assisted by Lucic, by the way.
Dude,
this is why this stuff sucks. Is because like this is why they try to get this shit out of the game, because it takes over the narrative from the actual fucking skill in this sport.
Then let them fight, and this stuff will take care of itself.
Exactly.
And you want to talk about it on Monday.
Yeah, you let Kassian beat up Tkachuk. You kick him out of the game. People forget they let Kassian come back into that game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How did he not get 2, 5, 10? How did he get how did he get a double minor? Well, that is 2, 5, and 10 right there.
And it goes back to the conversation about Lucic having to answer the code. Like he had his chance.
Oh yeah, he could have gone out there and chat. I guarantee we were there. Did anybody once?
I was watching him the whole time. I had zero chill after all those incidents.
Oh no,
I was watching. I was real.
You were angry.
I kept it to myself though this time. I didn't get any verbal battle.
Rick was. On the way out, Rick was getting a little heated.
Your Chuck, he saw me later on that night. I don't know if we were on the bus or at Singapore Times, man. I saw you down there. Like, if you got into a fight, man, I had your back right away. Let's go.
Tyler was in a state.
I can't do a lot in a fight, but
that's fine.
I give the effort.
These guys don't do anything.
You're lanky. You got reach. You could do some damage and then pull away.
I'm throwing around guys with big Z.
I always think I'm a good diffuser because of the long reach. I can just hold guys off and be like, "Whoa, hold up." And then,
no, you were giving me props and you were like ready to dive right in.
Whoa!
After standing up to a Flames fan, literally last time I wasn't.
Yeah, that guy looks over, and you're not a small fella. And then Dusty stood up, and he's not a small fella. And I don't even notice me. I was in the middle. I just like threw my arms like, hey, I'm over here too. Yeah, no, that guy had no chance of doing nothing.
No, I was also right there, and I was just like, hey, what's going on? Again, drugs man left. I want to move on. Tyler, I want to talk a little bit about cheating in sports.
Yeah.
You brought up the Astros a little bit earlier. For those that do not know, please give a quick breakdown as fast as you can so we can move on to some hockey cheating.
Okay, so basically
30 seconds, go, your Umchuk.
Earlier in the winter, former Astros pitcher Mike Fiers went to Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic and basically confessed that when he was on the Houston Astros, he's not anymore, they had a cheating scheme that involved banging drums in the dugout, and there were monitors.
Trash cans.
Sorry, yeah, bang. What did I say?
Drums would be
Banging
great.
a drum would be sweet.
Basically,
drum.
Not
they're-
subtle.
I think something's up with that dugout over there. Something's not quite right over there.
So basically their scheme was they had a camera in center field. It would relay the catcher's signals into the tunnel by the dugout, and they would watch on a monitor. Once they knew it was an off-speed pitch or whatever coming, they would bang the garbage can so the batter could hear it, know it was an off-speed pitch. All that shit happened. This was back in 2017 when the Houston Astros won the World Series. All these investigations went into it. MLB looked into it. Basically, what came of it was the Astros lost their first and second round picks for the next 2 years. They were fined $5 million, and their GM and coach were suspended for a year and then fired. There was another guy in there, Alex Cora, who's now the manager of the Boston Red Sox.
Formerly.
Now. He has since been fired. Carlos Beltran was one of the players who initially came up with the idea and was the only player named in the commissioner's report. He had never even managed a game for the Houston Mets since being hired.
New York Mets.
New York Mets.
They're all over the place
Fuck.
here, Ty Guy.
Sorry, I'm trying to get this all out really quickly.
Okay, well, you're fact checkers here.
And he's since been fired as well. We thought everything was over. We thought everything was dealt with. But wait, there's more.
There's a niece.
A Twitter account claiming to be Carlos Beltran's niece, who did have some tweets earlier on in the week correctly predicting he would step down as Mets manager, came out and said they've been wearing buzzers on their chests during games so that they could electronically send signals of what pitches were coming. This got really interesting when there was a video of Jose Altuve after hitting the walk-off home run to win the ALCS, was running to home plate, and there's a celebration in baseball where everyone likes to rip their jerseys off, and he's holding onto his jersey. You can see him mouthing the words, "I got a piece, I got a piece."
No,
And
Not my shirt.
Somebody
not my
said it was
shirt.
saying some jersey, not my jersey, in his native language.
He did say it in Spanish, yeah. So
Yeah.
I've seen that, and I've seen, but
Sorry,
he does
anyways.
say
I
a
also-
piece
still,
in there.
I am buying
Something
it.
about not taking off his shirt.
I also want to point out that at the end of every ON Radio podcast, we all do the same thing. We all rip each other's hoodies off.
Shirts
Well,
off?
yeah, it's just good fun, though.
I don't, though, because I'm shy, which is exactly what Jose Altuve
And
said.
then he runs
After he-
right
yeah.
down into the dugout, downstairs, takes his shit off, comes back.
Comes back out without a jersey on.
did an interview with Ken Rosenthal and said I was shy because my wife was
doesn't
mad
like
at me.
Yet his
So-
Instagram fucking page is full of fucking pictures without shirts on.
Basically, the Astros are dirty cheaters, and they got away with it for a bit, but now
Won a
they're not
championship.
anymore. They won a couple of ships, like good
Asterix,
team, but
take them away. USC lost their titles a couple years ago from way back from the mid
But that's college
2000s.
football.
I don't believe in taking away championships. I think they're tainted enough already, and taking away a championship puts more of a black eye on the
What
sport
about,
than
okay,
it does
wait,
the team.
what did they do in what was it, 1911 or 1919? The
Yeah,
White
that was a
Sox. Did
long
they take it
time
away?
ago. I think they took it away.
Yeah.
But
I
still-
think we're almost in that same spot again. And say, you know what I mean? Like you never honestly had a whole
except-
organization like this before.
Except that now it's like an echelon of different teams that are falling into the same accusations. It's going to be a while before it all burns out. But as Bag
Is
Milk has
patient
asked the
zero the
question, do
Astros
the
though?
fans care?
Like everyone was a part of the Astros
Because
year
they're-
one, and then like as they spin off to new teams, they take their new tricks of the trade.
well, I think it's the biggest issue because they were the world champions.
Yeah,
Oh,
they were
I
if
know.
this was the fucking Marlins,
Yeah.
no one would give a shit.
So I want to spin this into a hockey conversation and how or if there are opportunities for teams to cheat. Obviously, you there's no need for a buzzer. There's no one throwing pitches. Like the game is a lot more fluid than baseball.
Connor gets a buzzer when he sees an opening.
I
The
feel
other
like he's
team
already
sets off the buzzer.
Yeah,
It's
like
true.
I feel like
shit,
Connor already
oh
sees
shit,
the
oh shit.
Connor already sees the world in code anyway, so he already knows when these are opening ahead of time.
What was your question on after hours for him?
Where do you hide the turbo button?
There you go.
Yeah.
You don't want to know.
He didn't answer either.
He didn't.
He didn't answer.
Never
Connor
tell
is a
that
game
secret.
genie. So Tyler, do you think there are opportunities in hockey where a team could cheat in some way, I don't know what they could do to get an advantage?
Well, if you listen to Two Guys and a Goalie, which is a great podcast, I think it's one of the best hockey podcasts going right now. Joaquin Gage.
One of, not the best.
I
One
suppose.
of.
I actually do think it might be.
This is a great story though.
where Gager said he had a story of Bob Hartley when they played against him in the minors. He would send trainers through the vents into the other team's room, measure all their sticks, find a couple guys who had illegal blades, and when he got a power play, he would just call out the team on an illegal stick and basically just get 5-on-3s all the time.
And he nailed 2 guys in one game or something.
Nailed 2 guys in one game with it.
And then his trainer like sat down with the trainer from the other team, and that's how they got they confirmed it.
So there's stuff like that, but really like there's no signs in hockey.
No, man, you can do this.
It's too fluid.
What do you got, Dan?
You can do
How
this.
you gonna cheat?
So Zack Kassian showed us a little clip of it during the Flames game where he took a sip of a bottle of water that was very clearly sewer water and not real water.
What is in this water?
And he asked what's in this water. So it's little things like that where you can affect them mentally.
I think
You
Zack
can never
Kassian,
affect the outcome as blatantly as the Astros did.
I don't think Zack Kassian looked at the bottle before he drank from it because that is clearly not just water.
It's Calgary sewer water. It's
What
from the
is-
Bow River.
Dude, can you imagine
They
having
don't
to work
have
between those?
fluoride in their
Can you
water, so-
imagine being a time clock guy? It's got to be a little bit boring in there, right?
You gotta
Bag
get a little
milk. I
tipsy.
know you're on my side here. You'd have maybe a little vodka soda in that. Little
What if it was like one of the penalty box guys'
Absolutely.
spitters or something?
No, that would no.
But Elliot Friedman in
comes
31
up
Thoughts
darker.
did have some points where there was a Detroit that used to paint the other
Paint the
team's
room,
dressing
yeah.
room so
Hey,
that
that
it
shit's
stunk.
fine, dude.
Boston would crank up the heat.
Like Joe Louis was built so like the opposition's bench was all sorts of weird and fucked
Man,
up.
but like
I'm
it's
down
things
with
like
that.
for
That's
me,
fine.
it's like the visitor bench being on a slight angle so that the players can never
And
really
it's
truly
short-
rest.
and it's shorter, so everyone's like crammed
Yes.
in there.
Like
And
little
it's-
things like
just-
that I
That's
like.
fine.
I mean,
but that's not really cheating the same way.
I agree.
The Astros.
Yeah, like Tyler said, you can't fix the game in a way that will actually change the outcome in the same way. But you can do psychological stuff that could slowly break down your opponent. Like again, we were talking about earlier upstairs with Wanye about how there's these rumors in the 80s the Oilers would always put decaf coffee in the opposing dressing room and tell them it was actually coffee.
I just love that they're crushing coffee.
Or like
just make reporters keep going in there and bug Al Montoya. Like, hey, you got to say something. You got to say something. That guy has a horrible game that night.
He doesn't talk to people.
Come on, we're not going there.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Just keep bugging that kid.
Boston
in the
or
corner.
wherever it was in the Garden, they would turn up the heat in the visitor dressing room so
Good.
you were sweltering hot. Like
Let's do it.
little like psychological warfare things like that. I dig. Like I'm all about that.
Me too. I love
good.
it.
Yeah, and like if you want to put like weird stuff in the opposing penalty box in their water, whatever.
But I think that would, if it came out that you were actually doing that would be considered cheating by the league.
I think you're gonna get in trouble, but not like
no,
this.
you'd be fine.
No, not this.
If
No,
you
it's
did-
not this level.
If you did sour milk in the water bottle, yeah, you might get a little more trouble. But the rest of that shit, man.
Or like putting drugs in it.
Well, okay, I didn't
All
want
of
to
a
go
sudden they're
there.
just
Well,
Shrimp.
nobody's going to dose anyone, man.
I don't know. Do you guys remember in Mighty Ducks 3 when they put all the ants in
The
the
fire
in the
ants.
varsity
That was like
dorm?
that was a deep level
Yeah,
one
man.
because they had like the tubes and everything set up.
So like
Alright.
shit like that's all good.
So the Flames game's on the 29th. We need to figure out where you get some fucking ants.
Where do they room nowadays? Is it right across from the
Well,
arena?
that's okay. You know
Well,
what?
we got to ask either Coach or Coach O'Brien.
Yo, no, I'm honest here. Like, we need to bring out the inner Philly fan in us.
Oh, but
And we
And
need
throw
to get,
batteries at Santa.
well, maybe not that far. Okay, I can't
Yes.
throw things on the ice, but I had a couple ideas. But no, you need to get on that guy from the second that fucking plane hits the ground, man.
But
they
no,
stay
see,
at a hotel.
part of
get
me
on
think-
them. Get on when they get on that bus. Get on them there. We're the fans. We're allowed to. You get in his head.
I feel like that's playing into Kachuk's bullshit.
We're not the
though.
team. We're not the players though.
But I think he feeds off that.
Oh,
this guy is a classic 1980s wrestling heel. Like he feeds off this bullshit.
But if you get them all hyped up and going into the game, and Zach's well behaved, you'll get him off right away.
Kachuk, if he eats a clean check, that ends this. That guy can't take a fucking hit.
That's
if
fair.
he eats a clean check, this is over.
But we need to make this arena not fun to play in.
and that's the biggest, like I said, it's the biggest takeaway for me is that if Rogers Place is fucking rocking like playoff style, that'll be amazing, and it'll be a
Like
blast to see
European
on TV.
hockey style.
Yep. I
Those
wish the
guys go
Finns were here
crazy.
still.
I
We
wish,
should light fires in the stands.
dude. I wish we could. Not soccer, man. Not
Maybe edit
soccer.
that part out. Producer
Not the
Rimchuk.
soccer. The soccer. The hockey is fun. They dance. They sing.
Y'all are wondering why the Oilers don't like us very much.
Oilers Nation Radio does not condone the lighting of fires or other such things in the stands.
I am definitely very vocal in my seats, and I had somebody who was very high up in the OEG. I had his son
Flex
look at
over
me.
here.
Yeah, I had his son talk to me and said, "You know what? I wish all fans were like that." And I was making an ass of myself that night. I was rolling on those officials. The fact that I knew who the officials' names were, and that Graham Skilleter had fucked us over before. He loved the idea.
You're a special person. I couldn't name anyone past Kelly Sutherland.
Oh no, I gotta sit there. There's Graham Skilleter, and there's I learned the other ones from I can't remember what game. It might have been the Carolina game. Right?
I just remember Mick Magoo because he was not kind.
Oh, when he waved out that fucking goal, that was not a hand pass.
It was not a hand pass. All right, Tyler, we got a couple of minutes left, so we're gonna finish off with the hot and cold performers of the week.
Hot.
Get your buttons ready. We are gonna start with the veggies as we always do. We are gonna look back at the week that was. Pick the hot, the cold. I'm going to go ahead and start with myself this week because I'm going to call Jay out as my cold performer of the week.
This is good.
Jay.
As he hosts the Finns and his...
That's right. That's right. Jay, because I don't know if you guys saw it, Evan Bouchard leading the AHL rookie D-men in goals, and he scored a beauty coast to coast this week. Jay said he doesn't have passion or fire or whatever garbage take he had. My cold performer can't move, can't skate, can't shoot, doesn't hit, looks too much like dad. I don't know. Jay, you are my cold performer of the week.
The button.
Oh, that's cold.
Daniel, your cold performer of the week.
I know that Gregor had the little speech with a couple of the Condors, or about the Condors.
Yep.
Woodcroft
Had an
and all
interview
that
with
good
Jay
stuff.
Woodcroft.
I got there at a point, you know. Woodcroft had some kind words about this guy, but he's had a rough go of it so far. And this week he's got 0 points. It's Ryan McLeod of the Bakersville Condors. Bakersfield. Ooh, this is a good
Bakersville.
This brew that we're drinking, this brew that we've been drinking during the episode, we haven't mentioned. It's good. It's good.
Rick, your cold performer of the week.
Well, we've had a pretty good week here. I don't think there's much we can complain about. Well, I guess there is one thing. But I'm going to kind of go off board as well. And my cold performer of the week is going to be George Peros. You've just legalized targeting hits. You are going to get people hurt. You're taking us backwards from where we were. And this is all going to be on you. And it's going to be really, really hard to try and fix afterwards.
Nicholas.
Lacrosse goals.
Can we call it the Michigan goal, please?
Oh, that's cold.
Michigan goal.
Svechnikov.
Fuck Philip
Fuck
Forsberg.
Svechnikov.
Fuck those goals. That's not the hockey I know. Take it back to the 30s. If it was up to me, we wouldn't even have forward passes, for God's sake. Enough.
Tyler, your cold performer of the week.
My cold performer of the week is my own liver after the performance I put forth on Saturday in Calgary.
Tagai,
Real quick.
How did you feel?
So we went to breakfast the next morning after the Flames game. We were all sitting there waiting for the bus. Everybody's got their stuff. We're all just having coffees and chatting and whatever. And all of a sudden, Tyler just disappeared.
And some weird eggs.
Yeah, super weird eggs.
Those omelets were interesting.
So Tyler just disappears, leaves all his stuff,
All of his stuff
disappears.
behind.
Leaves his stuff with me. I'm like, okay.
So
I'll
back.
The boys from Backside are like, all right, time to load the bus. And we're just like, well, where'd Tyler go? So I text him. He's just like, I just needed a quick 10 on the couch.
He went back up to our room and slept on our couch.
You couldn't get an actual nap in that 10 minutes. And you're about to get on a bus where, I don't know, were you on the Finn's bus?
No, he was with us.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Watching The Longest Yard in Wedding Crashes.
Oh, yeah. If you're on the Finn's bus, I get it. Get your nap in first because you're not going to be sleeping on the way back. But we were off the Finn's bus. We were on the regular people bus, and we knew damn well we could sleep. Well, at least relax.
On the flip side of the coin, hot performers of the week. Dan, I'm going to check in with the prospect system. Who is your hot performer of the week?
Well, Bag Milk, you already mentioned him.
I was going to say.
Poor Jay. He's he's taking a beating in this segment. But it's Evan Bouchard.
All Flames fans have been.
Evan Bouchard with a big goal and 4 assists through 3 games this week. Evan Bouchard, your hot performer of the week.
Rick, your hot performer of the week.
I'm not going to include myself in this time. However, I have been pumping the tires. I have been pumping the tires, but my hot performer is Caleb Jones.
That was hot. That's hot.
Got himself a 2-year contract as a reward for everything he's done so far. Had a fantastic game against Nashville. Kind of learning from his mistakes. Not going to be a perfect defenseman out there for the rest of the year, but he's on an upward trajectory and exactly where we need him to be.
Nicholas Pickles, if that's your real name, who's your hot performer of the week?
It's letter time. It's letter time. Mine is Riley Sheehan.
This is hot.
Riley Sheehan gets a lot of shit from our very own Hernan. Hernan's hot takes. He has said that he thinks Riley sucks.
And Twitter is not a big fan.
He's arguably our best penalty killer. He leads all forwards in penalty killing ice time. Last game, he looked great out there. All his underlying numbers look great. Expected goals were around 60%. Corsi was in the high 50s.
Like a really good fourth liner, like he is.
Yeah, but
Perfect.
He's good. That's what we need.
Exactly.
Like he's one of these guys that's come in. He's done his job. The penalty kill is where it is, not just because of him, but his role that he plays on it. And I appreciate you, Riley Sheehan. I do not hate you.
That's really hot.
Unlike Hernan, who hates
Mr. Yaremchuk, your hot performer of the week.
My hot performer of the week, you got to look up with Connor McDavid, and he made it count. He's now got 2 goals and an assist in his last 5 games. Josh Archibald,
Archie.
come on down.
That's really hot.
Where's Jughead?
Womp womp. And of course, I'm going to finish off. How could I not do my hot performer of the week once again for the second week in a row? Ryan Nugent Hopkins. Dude. He has got 11 points in his last 7 games. The dude
forever.
Thank you. The dude is red hot right now, playing alongside Leon Draisaitl and Kailer Yamamoto. Wrist is looking good, back to full strength. He is firing. He is back on pace for 60 points over a full season, which is remarkable considering the October and November he had. Hot performer of the week, Ryan Nugent Hopkins. Go out hooking.
No.
And with that, we are going to wrap up episode 70 of Oilers Nation Radio. I want to go ahead and thank Sherwood Ford the Giant out in beautiful Sherwood Park, Alberta. And of course, skipthedishes.ca for making this all possible. And to each and every one of you for listening and telling a friend about this here podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Rate, review, subscribe.
What Nick said.
On all the platforms.
Shout out Damien.
Best wishes. Thanks for listening to Oilers Nation Radio, a member of the Nation Network of Podcasts. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media to stay up to date and never miss a podcast.